Hey guys, Steve here. Today we got a look at the British Tier 6 Cruiser Fiji. I got Fraser on the screen here. It's jumping out to me that I don't have him set up for this ship, even though that's the build that was used during the game. Double HE fire starting chance perks. Not going to do much on the Fiji or any of the tech tree British cruisers, so I'm guessing I was using him on the Exeter when we were testing that one out. Anyway, Yamamoto, Inspiration, level 15, very valuable on a lot of cruiser lines. That's why I have a lot of points into him. Particularly valuable on this one because it only fires AP, so you want to maximize that effectiveness, and that's why you would normally run Fraser, because he has opportunities to boost the AP pen twice. Or you can put two perks that have no relevance to your available weaponry. Either way. Makawa, also level 15. I have him on a lot of lines as well. I don't think the Russians or the French are probably the two that I don't use Makawa on. But pulling in that detection range, always helpful. Especially on this line, it's great because you want to be able to move around without getting spotted as much as possible. This thing, if you're caught out in the open and you don't have a way to disengage quickly, the ships can blow you up pretty quickly. The British cruisers in general, not the most durable line known to man. Land of fire here, we're playing sea, we got a battleship behind us. Looks like a cruiser, I don't know what it is. Basically right on top of us, which is not the end of the world. We also have the destroyer that spawned behind B coming over here. I don't necessarily have a problem with that move. We have a 2-destroyer team right here. They have 3 on their side, but you know, if you're going to have 2 destroyers on your team, getting one on both wings is probably not a bad idea. Anyway. So we're going to do what we can do over here. We're going to have a little bit of trouble spotting until that destroyer moves up. He's kind of taking his sweet time. Not sure exactly why he's not pushing a little more aggressively. Akatsuki briefly pops up there. And keep an eye on the damage every time we hit that thing. The British AP, these are short fused, like a lot of the British shells. They'll shred those destroyers. So if you're playing a destroyer, you need to be very, very cautious about British cruisers that are near you. And if you're a British cruiser and for whatever reason your head... Oh, damn. That hurt. Yeah, well, that... we almost got blown out of the water there. And if you're going to take broadside shots, even against, I think it's a Byron over there, not the most accurate of ships. We give a little damage back to the New Orleans, trying to finish him off. But anyway, my point is, if you're for some reason not comfortable or you're not prone to shooting destroyers anyways, which I'm constantly advising people shoot destroyers whenever possible. You can see the damage there. I mean, this thing, these British cruisers absolutely shred them. So, and the shells, you know, they're not bad. Close range. Longer range, they're a little floaty, so long range destroyer shots, maybe not your top priority, but close range shots like that, you can absolutely melt those destroyers. So that's my point. Get rid of the destroyers. As always, you want to be shooting them whenever possible, but British cruisers do it particularly well. Now, my destroyer's on sea here. I'm hoping he's going to spot this Byron, so I'm kind of just taking it easy, you know, keeping my guns in position over there. We got him locked. Just going to take a minute to see if he gets spotted. Finally he does. It takes me a second there. I'm probably looking on the other side of the map, but we do get him sighted. And you can see here, now we're going to be clipping those front 2 turrets. It's going to be hitting the island. There's currently a bug in the game where sometimes when you're very close to an island and you hit it, the shells will, the tracers will continue to fly through the air. But you'll notice only half of these shells are actually hitting every time we launch. So I don't know if I didn't notice it at the time, or I suspect I'm more focused on protecting myself. We do have that bigger bulge on the left. I don't want that Byron to shoot me again, because if he does, I'm definitely going to die. So I'm pretty sure this is intentional. You don't have to worry. You don't have to shoot a full salvo every time. You can be firing your front 2 guns, or if you're in a situation like this where only half your guns are flying over an island, don't put yourself in more danger just to get a little bit more extra damage. I can potentially get, what, 1,000, 2,000 more damage if I get the front 2 guns in, but if I give them an angle to shoot at me, the game's over. Getting 1,000 or 2,000 damage for, you know, a couple extra salvos, not going to be worth it when staying alive. I could potentially get, I don't know, 90, 100,000 more. Let's just pull that number out of the hat. Anyway, we got a destroyer rushing that Byron. I'm hoping he's going to torp him. Looks like he missed those. So we put our torps down, and then we're getting out of there. Cruisers in general, when battleships are rushing you, once your torp threats kind of diminish, and yes, we could flip the ship around, launch the other torps. Maybe that would be a better play. But getting distance between you and battleships is the goal. Stop rushing these battleships. It's one of the most common misplays that you see from cruiser players. Getting closer to battleships, you're constantly improving their advantage the closer you get. Their guns' accuracy goes up, especially a ship like the Bayern or any of those German battleships, which can't really hit anything reliably at range. You get close to them, they'll start tearing you to shreds. And of course, after that wicked shot we took early on, we're essentially a one-shot for any battleship from here on out. So you always want to be increasing that distance. In general, cruisers, if you're going to be moving and attacking, you want to be moving away from the targets. Obviously, there's a myriad exceptions to that rule, but that should be the tendency. We want to be sailing away from ships rather than towards them. You know, I'm not going to go into it right now, but there's a lot of different reasons, and there's many advantages that you get by increasing the distance. So analyzing the game, we're up a ship, we're up a destroyer. Cannot tell decisively if he's playing with one hand on the controller or two. I don't believe it's two at the moment. But we're going to be moving into B now. We're going to be using that concealment that we built in here. A lot of times the concealment's going to be used to disengage or keep yourself safe moving from point to point. But here's an example of where, if you keep an eye on that blue detection ring on the map, at first I'm evaluating the options. We have a smoke available here. Do want to support these ships. We can do some pretty decent damage on the King George, as we'll see here, by opening up on him. So my early instinct is to attack this ship. I'm kind of waiting, looking on the map, making sure I have teammates that have reliable line of sight on that guy, because once I smoke, if I'm the ship spotting this guy, of course he'll disappear, and then it's a wasted smoke at that point in time. But as we kept evaluating this play, we're noticing he is kind of sailing out of the way a little bit. He's kind of sailing to the west, and that's going to give us just enough time or enough space on that map to get into this cap here. Then we're going to be able to pop the smoke. Hopefully we'll keep this King George spotted. We can tear him down that way while capping, because, you know, you can look at the scoreboard right now. Points are going to be very valuable. You know, it's always important in domination mode, but when you're getting late into the game here and the score is this tight, you want to be, number one, stopping their accrual of points by getting on this cap, and then if we're able to flip it, then we're going to start accruing our own points, which is going to be a nice swing. So that's increasing our opportunities to win the match. We don't want to just rely on killing all the ships every game. We want to also be having the possibility of winning on score, and to do that, of course, you have to control the objective. So that's a good kind of offensive use of the concealment on these type of ships. British cruisers have very good concealment to begin with, but I don't think we could have made that play had we not spec'd out Macau there. Anyway, the King George, he's not really getting out of there. And you can see here, we're getting anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 per salvo. And if you're reloading every, 7 seconds, we're shooting basically on reload. Yeah, it looks like just about 7 seconds there. That's a lot of damage pumping out. Now, you got the Atlanta over there. I don't know why I switched back to the King George here. The Atlanta is the primary target. What we're trying to do is eliminate ships at this point in time. We want to find who's the lowest and who's the weakest. Atlanta, of course, has the least HP out of all these ships, has the least amount of armor, and potentially we could kill him. So I don't know, I kind of wasted 1 or 2 salvos on the King George. Watching this back, I wish I would have more focused on that Atlanta. But we're doing a fair amount of damage to both of these ships. Now the Nagato has the opportunity to kill this Atlanta, or at the very least wound him. Now he does have broadside battleships available to him on the map there, so, and his guns are probably going to overmatch the Atlanta, but he is angled. And leaving that Atlanta alone could come back to bite him later. So we're going to try and keep shooting here. At that point in time, he gets behind cover. We're not going to be able to do any more damage. Smoke's about to run out here, and you want to keep an eye on that. If you fire too late as the smoke dissipates, like if we had fired with, I don't know exactly what it is. It seems like about 2 seconds or so. However long the view range or the detectability range expands and then contracts, I think it's about 2 seconds. That's the window. If you shoot while the smoke's dissipating and then your bloom is still fully enhanced, but the smoke disappears at that point in time, you will get spotted. Moral of the story is don't shoot the last second before the smoke goes away. or you could potentially get spotted there. But here, once again, the concealment comes back into play. We just keep these guns silent. Of course, we can't take any shots from New Mexico. Can't take any shots from King George. We need to get back on behind cover here. Now, previously, I was targeting the King George. King George is lower, but New Mexico pushes forward. We, of course, need to get behind this cover. Zoom in on the New Mexico, see his guns aren't at us, and you can see where he's firing now. We confirm that. But that's why we shot there early. I'm going to keep checking behind me because I don't know exactly where the Atlanta is. Nobody's spotting them, and that's the ship that really poses the biggest threat here. But we're going to try and maintain the ability to use this kind of corner right here, and we're just going to be playing with the throttle, gently going forward, gently going backwards. We want to be able to shoot while being undetected, and again, New Mexico taking a lot of damage because he's got a big, meaty superstructure. Very easy to hit these American battleships in the superstructure, which is where you want to be aiming these British the British AP shells when you're shooting battleships. You want to hit them in the superstructure basically whenever possible. So we're getting a lot of damage on that guy, but we're still careful about the Atlanta. And once this guy goes down, we're actually going to turn, and you can see there on you see the explosions. He is targeting us, so one of the downsides of Fraser, he does not have the ingenious perk. Can't tell us when we're targeted. Had we had that perk, of course, the Atlanta, whenever he started targeting us, would have given us the information, and then we could have probably just moved forward just a little bit, or potentially tightened up closer to this island. Just make sure that Atlanta can't bomb us, because we can't really take a lot of damage at this point in time. Now, watch how we're backing up here. We're stopped. We're going as slow as possible. I kind of backed up, but I'm not charging out of here. I want to still try and use this cover if possible. Atlanta's not shooting at me yet. Once he takes the shot from us, he's going to know something's over here. And his guns swing very quickly, so he will actually get some shots off. I give him a freebie there. I say, okay, I'll intentionally miss you. No, I'm just kidding. He kind of did a good job dodging there. But the quick start and stop of the British cruisers were able to dodge that shot as we finish him off. Now, at this point in time, the game should be won. It's kind of like Ben Franklin said, it's a win if you keep it, or if you can keep it, whatever the hell his quote was. But, this is kind of throw territory. There goes 1/3 of our ships. The Nagato does get killed by the Atlanta, who, again, he did have a chance to at least wound earlier, but it did cost him the decision to leave him alone. Now we have a destroyer gunning this guy down, and normally in this situation, if you want to guarantee the win, we have 2 caps, we got a lot more points, just sail away to the south. That's how you win this game. But I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to finish him off. The destroyer is gunning, and he actually has some torps in range there as well. I'm hoping the King George will just pull forward, even go ahead and kill the Benson. I don't care. I do want the Kraken. So I'm hoping to ambush him around this island. He'll, of course, proxy spot me if that happens, because he has a 3-kilometer proxy detection. I only have the 2, assuming he has his ship's modules. But I think we probably could have gotten the Kraken. Regardless, the torps get him. Good shot by the Benson. And that ends up being a win. So I thought that was a fairly interesting cruiser game. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, well, consider subscribing. There's a lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.